seeing some rotation with this earlier, and now we're beginning to see that moving right into the Charlotte area. So this is right along Highway 321. Here's I-85. Here's Gastonia. So right around Gastonia, this is where we could have some rotation. We've also seen some broad rotation right around Lincolnton, but right now, Lincoln County under a severe thunderstorm warning, not under that tornado warning necessarily, but again, that tornado warning does extend more into the Charlotte metro area. We'll take off the lightning so you can just see a little bit better here. And again, right along 321, I-85, it's moving a little further away from Kings Mountain in the Gastonia area. So looking at where we may have some rotation here, again, I'm going to kind of widen out the view a little bit better, but just to the south of Kings Mountain and really just a little bit more to the southwest of Gastonia. So this is on a path that's going to take you a little bit more through the South Gastonia, and it would be continuing on a path more toward Mount Holly and into the Charlotte area as well. So again, this tornado warning just getting issued, and that's in effect until 6:45. I'm going to adjust the screen just a little bit here, and we'll see if we can show you a little bit better view, a little bit closer where exactly that we're seeing that rotation. So again, South Gastonia, the Crowders area here, Highway 321, Bowling Green area, you've got that rotation right around Lewis Road. Here's Sparrow Springs Road and Henry's Knob Road. So that's where we're seeing that rotation right now as it's working its way into southern Gaston County. So if you're just joining us here on WBTV News at 6 o'clock, again, we have a tornado warning that does include portions of Gaston County and Mecklenburg County until 6:45. So we're going to continue to cover this as we are seeing some rotation here with this moving into southern portions of Gaston County. So South Gastonia, Crowders area, this is where you need to seek shelter immediately in the interior part of your home, away from windows, away from those outside walls, so you can be in that safe spot. If you know of anyone traveling or getting ready to be traveling here on Highway 321, alert any family or friends to let them know this is headed in their direction here, more toward Highway 321 from South Gastonia into the Crowders area. We have Storm 3 that's been out monitoring this, at least that storm moving through the area, so they're following closely behind them. We'll be talking to them closely. We also have meteorologist Rachel Coulter standing by, who's also been keeping a very close watch on all these storms. We will zoom it out a little bit wider here just so you see the bigger picture. And again, up toward Lincoln County here, we have also seen some rotation. It's not a tornado warning, but you are under a severe thunderstorm warning with at least the wording there that a tornado could be possible as well. So we'll keep a watch on that, but you are seeing some rotation there right around Lincolnton. And so this is just north of Gastonia, right up along Highway 321. So Highway 321 kind of seeing the worst of this right now, but that better area for seeing rotation just on the south side of Gastonia. Again, this will be moving more toward Mount Holly and into the Charlotte area. So just kind of putting on a little bit better of a time reference so you can know exactly when this will be moving more into the Charlotte area and more across the northern Mecklenburg area. Again, putting on a storm track here toward Mount Holly as we approach around 6:23. So in about the next really 20 minutes, and then as we work away more towards 6:40, North Lake Mall, this will be moving closer to you. UNC Charlotte, University City area, as we approach 6:50, and the Charlotte Motor Speedway, eventually it will be reaching you as we get closer to 7 o'clock. Again, on that path, it's going to go maybe a little bit more into northern portions of Mecklenburg County or right over the uptown areas. So we also have some views that we'll continue to bring up to as far as maybe some traffic cameras that we'll show you, because we've been keeping a close watch on the roadways. Of course, with it being that evening commute, very messy to be out on the roadways. Meteorologist Rachel Coulter, now she's been standing by looking at the very latest. So Rachel, will just open up both of our mics so we can both talk back and forth. What are some things that you're seeing right now, Rachel?
Well, you know, I'm glad that you've been honing in on that tornado warn cell. That does include portions of the Charlotte Metro. I did want to zoom us back out as well, because even if you don't have a warning issued right now, it may not be the case later on. You can see how active it is across the Carolinas, across North Carolina, South Carolina. We have one of the only tornado warnings in Charlotte Metro and out to the western portions of Gaston County as well that we have across the Carolinas. But that tornado watch almost covers the entire state of North Carolina. And then we have that severe thunderstorm watch that covers almost the entire state of of South Carolina until about 8-10 o'clock, working from west to east. So zooming in a little bit closer, just in case you're just now tuning in, maybe you got that alert on your phone, or you had a friend or a neighbor send you a message. There's the latest update on that tornado warning. This was initially a severe thunderstorm warning with that tornado possible tag, and these storms have been capable of producing some pretty large hail. I'm seeing a lot of reports getting sent in, and I've tagged WBTV News on there, so if our producers here listening in from behind the scenes, we do have some good video and some pictures there on Twitter that we can share, but definitely move your cars inside, stay indoors, stay away from any of those windows, and it does look like we have another update in as well in terms of warnings that are going on across the area. It's just getting very active out there. So the tornado warning goes until 6:45. The time now is 6:06, so we still have a long while until this warning expires as this moves to the north and east. This does include I-85. We have I-485 also included in this. This is pretty close to the Charlotte Douglas International Airport, just on the tail end of that tornado warning polygon that we're going to want to make sure that we're inside the lowermost part of our home, put as many walls between you and the outside as possible if you do have this tornado warning issued for your area. So what I'm going to do here is look at velocity here and see where that potential for rotation would be. It looks like up towards Gaston County and Gastonia, whether or not we have a tornado on the ground. Again, this is radar indicated, so we don't have an observation from a storm spotter. We don't have a radar confirmed tornado. This is just a radar potential there for a tornado, but we have some really strong winds just to the north of East Hudson Boulevard, and that's going to be approaching 29, I-85. So if you're out in the Gastonia area, those strong winds are going to be moving pretty close to I-85 here shortly, and again, right over 29, paralleling the interstate. So if you're listening in from North Belmont or out towards Belmont, Cramerton, these are areas that you're going to want to make sure that you're staying off the roadways if you can. Mount Holly, you're also included in this tornado warning. This is just to the south and west of the Mountain Island Lake area. We do have that tornado warning that almost reaches Mountain Island Lake. And then again, the Charlotte Douglas International Airport, I would imagine that the planes aren't flying right now because these storms are approaching the area. So if you had any flight plans tonight, likely delayed at this time, as this tornado warning does include the Charlotte Douglas International Airport. I know, Jason, I've got some tower cams over here. I'm going to kind of go through a few of them, see if we can start to see any views from here. So I'm going to pass things back over to you, see if you have any updates on your end as I kind of scan through some of these tower cameras.
Yeah, as we'll continue to monitor this right now, I'll bring back over, again, if you were just joining us, we do have that tornado warning until 6:45 here, so we'll continue to zoom in closer to this area, keeping a very close watch on where it is right now and where it's headed. But again, Gastonia, here we are along right along Highway 85 or I-85, Highway 321. So this is the area where we've seen that best potential for seeing some rotation. We've even seen some maybe rotation up around Lincolnton as well. So we'll be keeping a close watch on that. I'll take this off so you can see just a little bit better here where we have that tornado warning until 6:45. It does include Gaston, Mecklenburg, and York County. Is radar indicated. It will be wrapped in rain, so you wouldn't be able to see it. Severe thunderstorm warning here. That will continue as well for 7:30. That also includes portions of Gaston, Mecklenburg, and York County as well. So again, a lot going on right now. As we widen out the view a little bit more here and put this in motion, you can see here on this 1-hour time lapse, these storms are quickly moving into the Charlotte area. So this is moving off to the east. It's been moving around 30 miles per hour. The National Weather Service had it tagged at going about 20 miles per hour, but earlier it was moving a little faster. So they've slowed it down a little bit with some of the speeds of this moving through. We're going to bring on some of this, we'll bring back some of our tools here, and we'll do a little bit more of a distance tool as far as how close this is moving, a little bit more toward Concord area. So this looks to be moving up a little bit more toward the Charlotte Motor Speedway here as we approach 7 o'clock. So that's about 25 miles away from Concord. So just to give you that reference, it will be moving over 485, I-77, and I-85 all within the next 30 to 60 minutes. So again, that tornado warning continues until 6:45. Again, zooming back a little bit closer here, even seeing a little bit more of this notch here. So you can almost see where there's just a little bit of a notch here. So we'll have to keep a close watch on that as well. So we'll kind of bring it up to where we may see a little bit better area for seeing some rotation. And again, right around Crowders and Gastonia, this is where we've had some rotation earlier, or along Highway 321. As we work away a little bit more here, just south of I-85, also seeing some rotation. That is going to approach Berry Hill here in the next little while as well. So again, we'll put on maybe a little bit more of a track on that storm. As far as what we're seeing, I'll put this kind of in motion here, the speed of these systems moving through. Again, they are moving around 30 miles per hour, so that puts a little bit more toward Berry Hill here as we approach at least 6:30, 6:45. That's about the time frame we can see that tornado-warned storm moving right into the Charlotte area. So we'll go back a couple of slides here, and where we're seeing maybe a little bit better area for rotation. So we'll zoom in a little bit closer here, right around the Mount Holly area. So this is I-85. We've seen some broad rotation here. And again, right along I-85, lull over toward Belmont and Mount Holly. This will be passing maybe a little further to your south. So we'll be watching that very closely as well. We'll go a little bit further south here, kind of bring this up so you can see a little bit better. And we'll work way a little bit closer here. But this is Highway 279. So let's kind of just put on maybe some reference points here and where this will be moving over and just some of the areas where we may have some of that rotation here. So putting that on Daniel Stowe Botanical Garden, kind of moving right over that area right now where you could see a better chance for seeing some rotation, and eventually working its way a little bit more toward the Allen Steam Plant. Again, it's been moving a little further away from Highway 274 here, and as we work away, this is kind of northern York County, so it's staying a little further north of York County. So southern Gaston County here is what we're looking at, getting ready to move into portions of Mecklenburg County. I'll take this off so you can see a little bit better. We'll pan in a little bit more as far as where this is headed. And again, here's 485 here, and eventually headed a little bit more toward the airport. So we'll put on, again, just kind of a cone to let you know or kind of track where we're seeing that better chance for rotation, extending that more into the Charlotte area. And so Berry Hill here approaching 621 about the next 10 minutes, and then the Charlotte Douglas Airport as we get closer to about 625. That's about the time frame. So we'll clear everything off so you can see a little bit better here. Again, we've zoomed in closer, widen out the view just a little bit more. So let's go back to more of a home view here, kind of a wider view across our local viewing area. If you're just joining us here, again, on WBTV News. And again, let me bring it back here. We'll go back more toward a radar view so we can see things a little bit better. And again, as we pan a little bit further off to the south here, again, southern Gaston County, this is where we've had some of that rotation showing up, and that's moving right toward 485 as we were talking about. I do want to put this a little bit more back onto radar so we can see things here. South Belmont, in addition to having that rotation, in addition to having that potential for seeing a tornado, there is the potential with a very heavy rain. We've also had reports of hail as well, that you could have just some very damaging winds, very gusty winds as well, not even associated with a tornado, but just straight line winds could be a factor as well. That's where we have also had, again, some of those severe thunderstorm warnings in effect. So again, that tornado warning, if you're just joining us for Gaston County, also including Mecklenburg County until 6:45. You can see that at the bottom of your screen. In the yellow is a severe thunderstorm warning right now for portions of Gaston County. That's been extended into Mecklenburg County as well as into portions of York County. And as we widen out the view even more here, you can see that warning even extends into portions of Anson, Richmond County, further into Chesterfield and Lancaster County. So let's work our way a little bit further off to the south. Don't want to leave out anyone here in our local viewing area where we also have some severe thunderstorm warnings, and that could mean that you may have some damaging winds. So right over Pageland, Highway 601, we're keeping a close watch on that. We'll go back to Charlotte here in just a second, but as we work our way a little bit closer toward Wadesboro, this is lifting up more toward Highway 74. Monroe, you're missing out on the activity, so that's good for you, but this is all headed toward Wadesboro here in about the next 15 minutes, and eventually over toward Rockingham as we approach the next 15 minutes as well. So let's go back over to portions of Mecklenburg County, and as we work way more toward York, here's Highway 77. So this right now is another cell that we're watching that could also produce damaging winds in York County. That's on a path headed a little bit more toward Union County. So as we put on more of a storm track on this as well, we'll track this over I-77, and as we extend this off into Union County, this will be moving over areas around Marvin, Weddington here as we approach 645, over toward Wesley Chapel around 650, Monroe around 7 o'clock, Unionville and Marshville eventually going past you around 7 to 7:20. So again, let me clear everything off so you can see a little bit better, and we'll work our way a little bit further up to the north and work our way a little bit back into Mecklenburg County here, where we're seeing, again, that potential for some rotation. So, again, in addition to this tornado warning that we have now moving closer toward Mecklenburg County, We also have that potential for damaging winds. And meteorologist Rachel Coulter here, she's standing by as well. Rachel, feel free to speak over me at any moment. I know you're keeping a close watch on the latest as we continue to watch this, getting ready to move right over the Charlotte Douglas Airport. I know you've got to look at velocity and where there may be some rotation showing up as well right now.
Yeah, and I've been scanning some of these tower cams as well, and right now this is the view from Rock Hill. So we've got those storms moving into Rock Hill at this time, and this is here very recently. We've seen this view change. So some very heavy rain. The visibility is going to be dropping there in Rock Hill. Starting to see some of those darker skies. This is from JCSU in Charlotte, and you can see some of those darker clouds moving in. There's a time-lapse view out of Blowing Rock, so looking a little bit different there as well. I've just been scanning some of these tower cameras, and I know that as we work our way through time, if you're seeing some sunshine now, again, not necessarily a good thing. If you don't have a warning in place, may not remain that way. And of course, even though this view from uptown Charlotte at this time, it doesn't look too ominous, starting to see the clouds pick up just to the west, we have that severe storms that are moving in, lined with that severe thunderstorm warning and also that tornado warning just out to the west of this area. So there's a lot going on. I'm going to show you the zoomed out view here, really across North Carolina and South Carolina. For those of you just now tuning in, it is 6:16. It's been a very active, I would say, past hour or so. We caught a quick lull in the activity from this afternoon's warm front, caught a quick break, and now we're seeing really our peak opportunity for severe weather, and we have those severe storms moving through the Charlotte metro as we speak. So the tornado warning is still in effect for Charlotte. That's the only tornado warning that's in effect, at least locally. We have that tornado watch that remains in place for almost our entire viewing area, severe thunderstorm watch in place for portions of Chesterfield County, South Carolina, but there's that tornado warning. So Mount Holly on the top edge of that storm, we have this tornado warning that's going to go until 6:45. The area of concern is going to be just south of I-45, and I'm hearing from my producer, if you don't mind saying that for me one more time, we have an uptown view of Charlotte, and you can see that is a very strong line of storm. So if you're listening in and you live in the Charlotte metro and you typically travel along I-77, I-85, I-485, pretty close to the airport at this time, right along that Mecklenburg-Gaston County line, I would avoid travel at this time. Even though that tornado warning only includes western portions of Mecklenburg County and eastern portions of Gaston County at this time, this whole line of severe storms is capable of producing damaging wind gusts, upwards of 60, even over miles per hour, which we know from the other day can cause damage. We also had damage reports already from some of those strong storms we had earlier today. We've had lots of reports of hail so far. Those reports are pouring in on Twitter, and if you're able to safely send your reports along, please send them to us on social media. You can send them to us on Twitter, tag WBTV or Jason or myself, or of course we've got Jamie and Maureen here as well. Be sure to let us know what you're seeing if you can do so safely. And if you haven't already, I would charge up those devices. That way, if you do end up losing power, we lost power the other day and we had over 6,000 customers without power for several hours, you can still watch our on-air coverage as we continue to see these strong to severe storms move through, one of which remains tornado warned at this time. I'm looking over at Jamie and Maureen. Are y'all hearing any updates from the anchor desk in terms of reports or power outages on y'all's end?
We have not so far, but we do, as you were pointing out, have seen some damage from earlier today. You mentioned the hail reports. Some of those have been coming in. We saw a tree down in Denver earlier today on a family's home there. They're having to do some damage. But, Maureen, this picture from our HD tower cam, we pulled it out. A lot of times we show it nice and tight so you can see the beautiful buildings of Uptown. But this wide picture really gives you an impression of what's moving through right now.
And it's moving, as Jason said, about 30 miles per hour. So this picture could change rapidly in the next 30 minutes as we stay on the air with this tornado warning. Here is some video that we've just gotten in. This is somebody that you retweeted, Rachel, and we are showing, this is part of Lincoln County where that hail is just bouncing off those deck chairs and the deck as well. Hopefully that person's car was undercover because that is not pretty, and it's really, really moving through fast.
That is it, and of course this is a rush hour. This is a weekend where lots of folks are going to be out and about trying to get some maybe last minute plans done for Mother's Day. Perhaps they're hitting the road to go to their mom's house or their grandmother's house or that sort of thing. So it's probably best just to put off that travel for a while, certainly here in Mecklenburg County. As Jason and Rachel were telling you, Interstate 485 from the west side of the county moving across here to the east is is going to be an area to avoid. You see the radar behind us. We've been talking about the tornado warning for obvious reasons, but many, many other thunderstorm warnings, meaning strong to severe weather, is moving through right now as well. High winds, lightning, all these things you want to stay inside and avoid.
And because these storms are moving and popping up so quickly, as Rachel and Jason have reminded you, just because you see sunshine out your window does not mean that you could not be under one of these threats at any moment. Here we are pushing into, this is from Diaski, and it's big chunks of hail. They look like
golf ball size,
yeah,
at least, yeah.
There we have it. And this is what we're so worried about. And you can see it there posed right next to the what looks like a golf ball, Jamie. That is not going to be good for a roof or a car, and it's not going to be good for people. That's why we want people inside right now.
Avoiding all of this. This is Gaston County right now, so this is part of the storm that we have been talking about, really concerned about right now, as that tornado warning remains in effect, as you can see on your screen, until 6:45 tonight in Gaston, Mecklenburg, and York County. So let's get you the very latest on where this thing is headed right now, and hopefully we'll get this thing to diminish here relatively quickly. But we do need to keep you updated. Let's get you back to meteorologist Jason Myers. We want to go to Jason or Rachel right now?
I can take you there, and just to start things off, I want to show you more of a wide view because we've got a lot going on. We do have that tornado warning, again, for portions of Gaston and Mecklenburg County until 6:45. But anywhere you see these yellow boxes, these are severe thunderstorm warnings. This is also areas that you could see damaging winds. So that does include Anson County, Richmond County, Chesterfield, Lancaster, now portions of Union. It does include York, Chester County, portions of Mecklenburg, Gaston, Lincoln, Catawba, Iredell County, all under severe thunderstorm warnings. Then toward the mountains, you're just beginning to now see more of these severe storms approaching you as well. So there's a lot to talk about. And as we work our way a little bit more toward Ashwaubenon, you're not under a warning, but over toward Avery County, you are under a warning right now as you have these severe storms lifting through. And these severe storms have a history of producing damaging winds and large hail. You were seeing some of the pictures of that as well. So again, moving back in closer, here where you see the red boxes, that includes areas like Mount Holly here over toward the airport. And if you go a little further south on I-85, over to the premium outlets there, Top Golf is there, there's a Walmart there. Again, these are the areas that are under that tornado warning. So if you know anyone out and about here, make sure they know about this. Hopefully they have the WBTV weather app to keep them informed. But again, traveling on I-85, very treacherous here, along with 485. So we'll, again, go up a little further to the north here, and you can see where we had some of those severe storms that are now moving through portions of Catawba and Lincoln County. All right, we'll see if we can maybe clear this off in a second. I'll work my way a little further down here, and we'll kind of zoom in closer to this area where we're seeing, again, that tornado warning, and really want to pinpoint street level where we may have the better potential for seeing that rotation. So Charlotte Douglas Airport here, this is 485. This is an area where we're seeing that better potential for seeing some rotation right now. Again, we'll kind of widen out the view once again. Also looking at what's happening here in Double Shoals. Sometimes when you get these little isolated cells, that can also produce some rotation as well. So that is something we'll have to keep a close watch on. All right, going back to what we're seeing here and moving in a little bit more into the Charlotte area and more toward the uptown area as well. We'll zoom in even closer. Again, what we were talking about, see if we can get some street level areas here where you can see maybe just a little bit better. The system can keep up with me. Here's I-85, here's 485. So this is right around West Mecklenburg High School. That's an area where we're seeing that chance for some rotation. So just a little further south of that here, and that's kind of a general area where West Mecklenburg High School is. We'll pan a little bit further down, further south. Lots of lightning right around that area. Berry Hill and the Charlotte Douglas International Airport. This is where you're seeing this move right over you. And I'm going to step out of the way. I'm going to flip it back over to where you can see more of our tower camera and just kind of show you a view of what that tower camera looks like. Now the tower camera is looking further off to the east, but it does show those darker clouds that are now approaching more of the Charlotte Metro uptown area. So we'll see if we can take this off here for you at the very top of your tornado warning, so that may expire here as we approach 6:45. I'll turn this off so you can see
That's something
what's going on right now.
Cut in here.
Yeah,
Jason.
go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
I want to see if in the back, if we can scan the Charlotte or uptown Charlotte cam. I know we're not looking west, but I know we have that 360-degree view. If we can pan the camera out to the west, I would really be interested to see, because if the area of concern, of course, right now I'm not seeing any tight rotation with this storm, but the area of concern would be really close to I-85 and the Charlotte Douglas International Airport. So if we can pan that all the way to the west, then we can watch this storm. And if this does end up producing a tornado, we're going to have a good vantage point from that, from our own HD tower cam here at WBTV. So we're going to be watching these clouds pretty closely here. Right now, again, I'm looking at velocity and I'm not seeing a signature for a possible tornado at this time. And as Jason mentioned, we're still not seeing them issue downstream, but they are mentioning that ragged wall cloud. So we're going to be keeping a close eye. I don't know if we can two-box and make sure we can keep that tower cam in view as we continue to show you what's on radar in the back there. But we're going to be watching that tower camera pretty closely here over the course of the evening hours, because if we end up seeing any tornado, again, that would likely be pretty close to the Charlotte Douglas International Airport. I would avoid getting out on 85. And I would avoid getting out towards the Charlotte Douglas International Airport. Likely, again, not flying any planes at this time with that tornado warning in place. Off to the north of that, we've got some really heavy rainfall. That's right over I-485, over 27. The Oakdale area seeing some really heavy rainfall, pretty close to the radar site there. This continues to make its way off towards the east. The Charlotte Douglas International Airport likely seeing some rain right now. And again, that would be the area to watch as well as this moves off towards the east. So heads up if you're going to be traveling around I-85 and I-77. The time now is 6:27, so we're still in that time frame where a lot of people are out on the roadways, and I know it's really popular to get from 77 to 85. I would avoid that intersection at this time, because we're going to have this storm that is capable of producing a tornado move right overhead. You can see on your screen we've got radar to your left, so uptown Charlotte, you're dry right now, but you've got quite an impressive view of this severe thunderstorm warned storm and tornado warned storm that's now impacting northwestern portions of Charlotte up towards 485, and this is going to be moving east I-77. So the North Lake Mall right now, you're seeing some of that moderate rainfall, but you're about to see that rain rate really pick up. If we do end up having a tornado, and maybe we can in the back as well look at some of those NCDOT cams. I know there are several NCDOT cams that line I-85 in that area. That would be a good call as well, and I'm going to be looking behind the scenes as well at Drive and see if we can pick up any of those tower cameras looking out that way. But this is going to be an area that we're going to want to watch for sure. So that's where we have that tornado warning. We don't have an extension on that tornado warning right now. Just looking at velocity, I'm not seeing any tight couplet or tight rotation. What we look for when we see tornadoes on, especially velocity, you're looking at the wind speed and wind direction. So when you start to see the brighter shades of green and the brighter shades of red right up against each other, that indicates to us that that storm is rotating and potentially producing a tornado. And I'm not seeing that right now. However, this is a really strong storm, and we've seen reports of hail with this as well. And this is mainly now impacting north portions of Charlotte. You'll notice out to the south, remember, just a couple of days ago, we had over 4,000 customers without power in South Charlotte from a severe thunderstorm warned storm that moved through, knocked down power lines. We had tree damage from that storm in South Charlotte. I was out of power for a long time as well. So the Montford area down towards South Park, the Arboretum, you do have that severe thunderstorm warning in place, but the rain for now is to your north and off to the south. So I do want to give you guys another zoomed out view here, just to kind of recollect, if you're just now tuning in, give you an idea of the fact that it's very active, almost the entire area under a tornado watch until about 8 to 10 o'clock from west to east. And then we have lots of warnings. If you zoom out here, you can see how many warnings are in place. There's another tornado warning to the west of Greensboro, so pretty close to the Winston-Salem area. If you've got some family or friends up there, might want to shoot them a text, give them a call, get some updates there. Otherwise, lots of severe thunderstorm warnings in place. If I zoom in a little bit closer here to some of our southeastern counties, and we may have an update from the National Weather Service here, but we may have some really big hail, some large hail to the east of Wadesboro. We're looking still at uptown Charlotte on your screen, but on radar I'm showing you Anson County out towards Rockingham as well. You're going to be seeing just to the north of 74 the potential for some large hail. So if you're listening in east of Wadesboro and you haven't already put the car inside, go ahead and make sure that's under shelter. That could be some large hail there. And then we have several storms there, even in Lancaster County, also capable of producing hail. Just to the east of 521, in between Heath Springs and Lancaster to the east there, and that's going to be approaching the county line, the Chesterfield County line here shortly, swinging off towards the north, right out towards Tega Cay. You also have a very strong storm just heading towards Weddington, Indian Trails, if you're in the Matthews community. So now we're talking about 521. We're talking about the south side of Charlotte, very far south enough to where you're at the intersection of 4 485 and getting off and on of 521 there. Pineville Matthews Road will likely see some impacts from that storm that we're seeing there. And it's northern Charlotte that's seeing the heaviest of rainfall. No longer, at least that portion of the storm that was initially tornado warned. It looks like the storm has moved out of that tornado warning polygon at this time. I'm looking at the National Weather Service here, and Jason, I know you're back there as well. Are you seeing any updates from them in regards to extending that tornado warning, or if this is going to continue on as a severe thunderstorm warning?
Great question there. Again, I think they're going to maybe let that expire, at least for the moment. I do want to also talk about what's happening in other parts of our viewing area. We did get a report of some pea-sized hail in West Charlotte. They did cancel that tornado warning, so that just now coming in for Mecklenburg County. However, I do want to focus on the storms that are happening now more into Anson County. Lylesville, we had a report there of golf ball sized hail. That's about 1.75 inches in diameter, so that's large, and that's just to the east of Wadesboro, right along Highway 74, Lylesville there. We'll go in a little bit closer to that area, and as we zoom in even closer here, again, Lylesville, right around Wadesboro, this is where we've seen that better chance for seeing some golf ball sized hail. The worst of that now moving maybe a little further away from you, but you have the heavy rain over you as well. That's going to cause ponding on roadways and some flash flooding concerns. But yes, golf ball size hail there being reported in Lylesville, and we had that report just coming in. Wadesboro, again, maybe the threat more for hail, it's staying just a little further to your east. But we'll keep a watch on this. This is a severe thunderstorm warning that's still ongoing for Anson County. So again, as we've been kind of zooming in closer to areas, just a wider view here, we've got this cluster of storms from the Charlotte metro area, upstate South Carolina, lifting through parts of our viewing area. We've got another cluster of storms moving out of East Tennessee, and that's now moving more toward our mountain communities, and that's where we even have a severe thunderstorm warning for Avery County. Again, going back to Charlotte right now, we don't have a tornado warning for Mecklenburg County at the moment, but we are going to stay on this just a little bit longer here, and again, it's right into the uptown area. So, of course, this being at the time of day here where we have that evening commute, a very messy commute here as we work our way a little bit more just to the north of uptown. So